face when she said, "What's all this computer about?" Then I was learning shorthand. It was a course, and I was learning it. I can't imagine that my children don't know what a typewriter is. I can't imagine. Even that Pitman shorthand textbook, they never went to see it. And COVID came. You can remember the Millennium Ball, right? There was even a song, the Millennium Ball. That was before the year 2000. Y2K, right? Correct. We're all scared. What happened to the calendar? What happened to the date? Then we entered 2000. Thank God the world did not turn upside down. We could still walk with our feet, not our heads. Then computer came. Then all the secretaries in the offices started phasing out. The next thing the bosses said, "We can do the job." Secretarial studies were no more relevant in universities. Then COVID. People now started learning how to use online learning platforms. It was nice. We now got to ChatGPT, the craze of ChatGPT. They were the only ones standing there. Before we could even finish learning ChatGPT, how to use it, we heard of OpenAI, that that's what we pay for more features. When we're now celebrating it, they now said there's DeepSeek. They now said other ones are there. We now dismantled the money investment that the engineers that invented ChatGPT invested in that idea. You know, anything good, people must copy it. All of a sudden, last year, is that hearing AI? Last year, what's AI? Even on Facebook, every advert is going to happen. Take courses before you even watch one video. So many adverts on AI. Even the rate of this AI, there are so many doing so many things. And they now say we should not use it in our classrooms. But everybody needs it. It makes life so easy. What is AI? That is what. Look, that's why we're here today. To understand exactly what AI is. The theme for this symposium is artificial intelligence, technology, and the transformation of contemporary social and professional trends. I'll say it again. Artificial intelligence, technology, and the transformation of contemporary social and professional trends. I would like us to please welcome the convener of this symposium, one of the scholars in my set. There was an exam, the lecturer said we should not write more than one page to answer the question. This person I'm about to call up did not really finish the whole book. Asked for extra sheet. The examiner came in and said, "Oh boy, if you don't summarize your work, you are going to fail." The because the guy is a genius. Jam your hands together for God sent Obebo, my professional colleague. Jam your hands together for.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening. Sorry, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Honestly, I'm lost for words. I'm the kind of person that I always have to say, but I think for today I'll try to be so succinct because of time. So what actually brought about the idea of the Academic Symposium is that I noticed I'm a researcher, although not officially, but something that I've been doing for about 10 years on a personal level. I noticed that there's always this kind of a little gap, but the aim is that we are not trying to battle with AI, we are not trying to make a fight with it. All we are doing is we want to add to the already existing body of knowledge. That's what we are trying to do, to add to what is already existing. So because of that, we then said, instead of students, learners, experts, professionals and the likes going to AI to now ask AI-like questions to AI, that's more like garbage in and garbage out. So we know AI cannot lie, but then we feel there could be a certain updated knowledge that can be added and then improve learning, awareness, and our well-being as people. So that's why I say, okay, let's do something to add to what is already existing based on body of knowledge. And that's why we are here today. And one of the major reasons we are gathered here is to discuss some of the intricate problems, issues that surrounds AI, work, and even the society at large. That's why we brought experts, we brought professionals, researchers, lecturers to help us unpack what this event has. And thank you again, and I know that you have this well time as we have this knowledge feast. Thank you so much.
All right, round of applause. Thank you very much. That is God sent Obebo, the convener of this symposium. Without wasting much time, I'd like to kindly invite my favorite lecturer during my time. Someone that explained concepts to me in a way that when I went home, I saw the world, I used to see the world in a different way. He broke them down so well that I now understood global politics because he taught international communication and changed the way I see myself as an African. Before I came to class, I went to Chakra. But after his lecture, I said, no way, I'm proud to be a Nigerian. I'm proud to be an African. People are not clapping. Clap, because it made me see the uniqueness of Nigeria, of Nigerian citizens. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Iman Usman Shehu. Clap your hands together for. He is the director of IIJ. He's going to be opening with a special paper. Sir, please do what you know how to do best and blow us away.
Good evening. Welcome to the symposium. It's my honor to see old faces and new faces. And I want to report somebody here. He's hiding his face. Okay, I'll have mercy, I'll not report you. Alright, so I've been asked to give the lead presentation for this symposium, and I've titled my presentation An Overview of Artificial Intelligence, Technology and the Transformation of Contemporary Social and Professional Trends. Those of you who have gone through my course, you already know before industrial revolutions. So you would know that the emergence of artificial intelligence is part of the fourth industrial revolution. Those of you who are starting that course, this is an appetizer for you. Alright, so good day, distinguished colleagues, esteemed guests, researchers, practitioners, students, and fellow innovators. It is my great honor to welcome you to this symposium on artificial intelligence, technology, and the transformation of contemporary social and professional trends. We stand at a pivotal moment in human history. The technologies we have created are no longer mere tools that support our work. They are active forces reshaping how we think, connect, work, learn, and even define what it means to be human. Today, we gather not simply to observe these things, but to understand them critically, to harness their potential responsibility, and to guide their trajectory towards shared human flourishing. So our first area of concentration or consideration would be the scale of transformation. Consider the pace, just like you had an overview by the MC that compressed the technological revolution in her presentation. From the invention of the printing press to the Industrial Revolution, major technological shifts unfolded over centuries. The digital revolution compressed that timeline into decades. Today, artificial intelligence is accelerating change on a scale of months and weeks. Generative AI systems that were laboratory curiosities just a few years ago are now co-authors of code, medical reports, legal briefs, creative works, and strategic decisions across nearly every sector of human existence. This is not merely an efficiency story, it is a profound social and cultural reorganization. The next thing to look at is social trends, how human connection is being transfigured. On the social front, technology has redrawn the maps of human interaction. Social media platforms, algorithmic recommendation systems, and immersive digital environments have expanded our circles of awareness while simultaneously fragmenting shared reality. We live in an era of unprecedented connectivity. Yet, loneliness, polarization, and attention fragmentation remain persistent challenges. Families negotiate screen time. Do I need to explain that to you? During the World Cup, some people want to watch Brazil or whatever, some people want to watch Nollywood movies, some people want to watch something else. So they have to negotiate the screen time and digital boundaries. Friendships form and dissolve across continents in real time. Public discourse increasingly unfolds in algorithmically curated spaces that reward emotional intensity over nuance. Questions of identity, privacy, authenticity, and mental well-being have taken center stage. Artificial intelligence adds new layers to these dynamics. Deepfakes that challenge our trust in visual evidence, personalized content feeds that shape worldviews, and AI companions that raise philosophical questions about emotional labor and the nature of relationships. The next thing to consider is professional trends. In other words, the future of work and expertise. In the professional sphere, the transformation is equally seismic. Entire job categories are being augmented, automated, or reimagined. Routine cognitive tasks, once considered safe from automation, are now within the reach of large language models and computer vision systems. Meanwhile, new roles are emerging that demand hybrid human-AI competencies, that is, prompt engineering, AI ethics oversight, synthetic data curation, and systems integration. We are witnessing the rise of the augmented professional, the lawyer who uses AI for rapid case research, not the ones doing fake cases like Donald Trump's team that has done just recently, but the genuine ones who are doing rapid case research, the physician supported by diagnostic assistants, the teacher personalizing learning pathways, and the creative who collaborates with generative tools to expand imaginative range. Yet, these shifts bring urgent questions. How do we redefine expertise when AI can produce high-quality outputs faster than most humans? How do organizations build cultures of continuous learning and psychological safety in the face of rapid technological change? What new skills, e.g., critical thinking, emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, creativity, and systems thinking will prove most durable? And how do we ensure that the benefits of these technologies are broadly distributed rather than concentrated among a narrow set of actions? So that leads us to opportunities and responsibilities. The promise is extraordinary. AI and advanced technologies offer pathways to solve intractable problems, accelerating scientific discovery, personalizing education at scale, improving healthcare access and outcomes, optimizing resource use for sustainability, and creating new forms of artistic expression. But promise without vigilance can become perilous. We must confront issues of algorithmic bias, data privacy, intellectual property rights, environmental costs of computation, cybersecurity vulnerabilities, and the potential for technological unemployment or underemployment. The decisions we make today about governance frameworks, education systems, and ethical standards will shape society for generations. This symposium is designed to move beyond polarized narratives of utopian salvation or dystopian doom. We seek rigorous, evidence-based dialogue that acknowledges both the transformative power of these tools and our collective responsibility to steer them wisely. And then we narrow down to today's program and our shared purpose. Over the course of this symposium, we will hear voices exploring empirical research on AI's workplace impact, sociological analysis of digital culture, ethical and policy frameworks for responsible innovation, hopefully case studies of successful human-AI collaboration, and forward-looking scenarios for education, healthcare, governance, and creative industries. My charge, therefore, to all of us, as presenters, participants, and thought leaders, including the class rep who is coming to take me my picture, is this. Let us engage with intellectual honesty, interdisciplinary curiosity, and a commitment to human-centered outcomes. Let us ask hard questions. Let us challenge assumptions. And let us leave this symposium not only better informed as students of Dr. Iwashi, but better equipped to influence the trajectory of technological change in our respective domains. The future is not something that simply happens to us. In the age of AI, the future is something we actively co-create through the research we conduct, the policies we advocate, the organizations we build, and the values we embed in technologies themselves. The long grammar is over. Thank you for being part of this vital conversation.
Please, you can sit down here, sir. Thank you very much. Another round of applause. Our next keynote address will be delivered by another of my classmates when I was here. Another scholar. Please, with a warm applause, let's welcome Ndubisi Aria. Very nice. For him. Please stay here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
So sorry for that little. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Because of our time, we'll just quickly go straight to the presentation. I'm going to be presenting on the same artificial intelligence technology and transformation of contemporary social and professional trend. My introduction is going to be on living through one of history's greatest transformations. Every generation witnesses a defining moment that changes the way humanity lives. For our grandparents, it was the first rise of electricity, automobiles, and industrial manufacturing. I'm not used to it, so please. All right. Please let me go back again. Every generation will witness of a defining moment that changes this. I think I will raise my voice. Thank you. All right. So every generation witnesses a defining moment that changes the way humanity lives. For our grandparents, it was the rise of electricity, automobiles, and industrial manufacturing. For our parents, it was television, personal computers, and the internet. For our generation, the defining forces is artificial intelligence, which is our own generation. Human civilization has never remained static. Society evolves because people continuously search for better ways to solve problems, improve productivity, and enhance the quality of life. And that's why all of us are here in this institution. We are here to improve in our educational career. previous technologies that merely extend human physical capabilities, artificial intelligence extends aspects of human intelligence itself. Machines can now recognize speech. Intelligence extends aspects of human intelligence itself. Machines can now recognize speech, generate written content, diagnose diseases, analyze legal documents, compose music, drive vehicles, detect financial fraud, and even assist in scientific discoveries. Tasks that once require years of specialized human experts can now be completed within minutes through intelligent systems. This development has generated excitement across governments, businesses, educational institutions, and industries worldwide. Organizations now see artificial intelligence not merely another technological innovation, but as a strategic asset capable of increasing efficiency, reducing costs, and creating competitive advantage. Nations are investing billions of dollars in artificial intelligence research because they recognize that technological leadership increasingly determines economic leadership. This tension explains why artificial intelligence has become one of the most debated subjects of the 21st century. The conversation is no longer about whether artificial intelligence will shape society. It already is. The real question concerns how society can maximize its benefit while reducing its risk. How professionals can remain relevant in an increasingly automated world, and how humanity can ensure that technological progress continues to serve human welfare rather than undermine it. The transformation taking place today extends beyond technology itself. It is reshaping social relationships, education, governance, healthcare, finance, journalism, agriculture, law, religion, security, and virtually every professional field. New careers are emerging while traditional occupations are being redesigned. Universities are reviewing curricula, governments are developing regulatory frameworks, and organizations are redefining the skills required for future employment. Professionals who once relied solely on technical competence must now combine the expertise with digital literacy, adaptability, lifelong learning, and ethical decision making. Students preparing for future careers can no longer assume that the professions of today will operate in the same way tomorrow. Success increasingly belongs not only to those who possess knowledge, but to those who continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn. This explanation examines how artificial intelligence and technology are transforming competency, social and professional trends. It considers both the remarkable opportunities and the significant challenges that accompany these transformations. More importantly, it argues that the ultimate measure of technological progress is not how intelligent our machine becomes, but how wisely humanity chooses to use them. Very important. That also takes me also to the concept, evolution, and foundation. Human civilization has always been driven by curiosity. every significant advancement in history began with someone asking a simple question. Can there be a better way? That question has led humanity from stone tools to satellites, from handwriting letters to instant global communication, and from simple mechanical devices to machines capable of performing tasks once thought to belong exclusively to the human mind. Technology refers to the practical application of knowledge to solve problems, improve efficiency, and enhance the quality of human life. It includes every tool, machine, process, and system developed to make life easier or more productive. A farming hoe, a printing press, a mobile phone, an aeroplane, an electricity grid, and the internet are all products of technology. At its heart, technology presents humanity's continuous effort to overcome limitations imposed by nature, distance, time, and physical effects. The idea of creating intelligent machines is not entirely new. Long before computers existed, philosophers and scientists imagined whether it would one day be possible to machine to imitate aspects of human thinking. These ideas remain theoretical until advanced in computing, mathematics, and data science made them increasingly practical. As computers became more powerful and access to data expanded, artificial intelligence evolved from an academic concept into one of the most influential technologies of the 21st century. Data has become the fuel of artificial intelligence. Every online search, digital payments, social media interaction, GPS, navigation, online purchase, and stream video contribute to an expanding digital ecosystem. Organizations use this data to understand behavior, improve services, and train intelligence systems. The more accurate and relevant the data, the more effective artificial intelligence systems become. This explains why data is often described as one of the world's most valuable resources. Artificial intelligence is now present in daily lives of millions of people, often without them consciously recognizing it. A student who receives personalized learning recommendations, a commuter using navigation software to avoid traffic, a customer receiving product suggestions while shopping online, or a journalist using automated transcription software is already interacting with artificial intelligence. Hospitals use intelligence systems to assist in medical diagnosis. Banks deploy artificial intelligence to detect fraudulent transactions, and farmers increasingly rely on predictive technologies to improve crop yield. The increasing visibility of artificial intelligence has generated both optimism and anxiety. Some view it as the solution to humanity's greatest challenges, believing it will revolutionize healthcare, eliminate poverty through productivity gains, and accelerate scientific discovery. Others fear widespread job displacement, increased surveillance, privacy violations, and the misuse of artificial intelligence for misinformation, cybercrime. Both perspectives contain elements of truth. Like every transformative technology before it, artificial intelligence is neither inherently good nor inherently bad. Its impact depends largely on the intentions, values, and decisions of those who create, regulate, and deploy it. Understanding artificial intelligence, therefore, is not simply a technical exercise. It is a social, economic, ethical, and philosophical endeavor. The questions raised by artificial intelligence extend beyond engineering laboratories into classrooms, courtrooms, boardrooms, newsrooms, hospitals, religious institutions, and family homes. Every citizen, regardless of profession, has a stake in understanding how intelligent technologies influence society. Finally, the age of artificial intelligence is not merely an era of smarter machines. It is an era that challenges humanity to become wiser, steward of knowledge, innovations, and progress. The technologies we build will undoubtedly shape the future, but the values we uphold will determine whether that future is just, inclusive, and beneficial to all. The next chapter will naturally build on this foundation by examining the evolution of human society through technology, from the Industrial Revolution to the age of artificial intelligence, tracing how each technological revolution has reshaped economy, professions, and everyday life. Thank you so much for listening, and hope you get your questions.
Please sit down, thank you. Another round of applause for Mr. Abuja. Put your hands together very well. Another well-researched topic. Thank you very much, sir. For those of you watching online, we are live at the International Institute of Journalism here in Jai District, Abuja. So if you are around the neighborhood, please come in and join us. We have been discussing artificial intelligence, technology, and the transformation of contemporary social and professional trends. Already on the item, to my immediate right, is the director of the Institute, Dr. Usman Shehu. Another round of applause. Seated beside him is Mr. Olubisi Alia. Another round of applause. I would like to call the very first female panelist, my beautiful sister, an amazing scholar. She never missed any lecture when we were here 2 years ago. Yes, please make her feel welcome. Mrs. Nkinga, thank you very much. She will sit in the center as the chairlady of this panel discussion. Let's put your hands together. We have another scholar who now passed through IIJ and not a scholar. You break down concepts in a way you appreciate the world better. True or true? Fantastic. We have Dr. Olori AJP. Other panelists will join us later. I want to use this time to appreciate our sponsors. We have Captain Television covering this event live. Let me hands together. We have our host, International Institute of Journalism. Thank you, sir, for allowing us to use your venue. We have the media, errands, news. Let me hands together for them. Even those making hair, like my weeds, want to know how to use AI to better their production. So they are here, they are sponsoring this event. They have red hair, and your hands together. And fellow consult. Thank you very much for starting right to me. As they say it, ladies first. So hold on, pass it the mic. I'll be handing it over to the pretty lady here. This letter is on. Thank you. Our amazing audience, they are also contributors to the discussion. So please listen and take down notes and questions. I think I'd like to invite the host. Please come and join us. Jam your hands together. For God's sake, keep clapping. He's the one that put it together. So we sit there and also make his own contribution. The first question to you, Madam Ikiru. How would you describe the impact of artificial intelligence on society today compared to what many anticipated a decade ago? How would you describe the impact of AI on society today compared to what many anticipated 10 years ago? Well,
thank you, Mr. Director, panel, and you, colleagues. I am honored to be here amongst you. And I think I am really the only female panel, right?
yes.
Well, there is something struck me when I saw the panelists certainly quite okay.
Right.
When I saw members of the panelists and I saw my lecturer, he's not just my lecturer, he's my friend. He's a mentor. He's someone who helps to redefine purpose. Sometimes you may be housing something or carrying something which you do not know yourself. He's a spotter of talent. That is one thing I know about him. And like Dr. Carlo rightly described him, it was after his course that a good number of us began appreciating the continent that is Africa. So I asked a particular question. I asked God sense. I said, Dr. Shield? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, the same one that I know? He said, yes. I went further. I said, the director of the International Institute of Journalism? He said, yes. I said, this man that knows everything, including the clay that God used to mold human beings. What can I possibly go and be discussing with this man? In fact, it is an honor to share a table with him. I am well honored. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. Okay, so to the question, how will you describe the impact of AI compared to what it was 10 years ago? This is 10 years ago, we had the Nollywood futurists, we had the media back then. The entire media space was at us. The Nollywood were giving us images and in fact pointing us towards a certain direction, what we believe or we should look forward to as we envisage what AI would look like in the next 10 years. So to me, it was more like, a humanoid robot, probably a butler, who would be just there in my house. I send him, come sweep my house, he sweeps it. I say, make me tea, he makes it, and he has to be very humble, very respectful, very obedient, supersonic speed, hyper intelligent. I think a good number of us share this sentiment. When we see those flying cars or those Hollywood movies and all of that, I thought of so many things. It felt like I wouldn't lay a finger on anything. I wouldn't raise a hand to do anything. It felt like, when you buy these humanoid robots, they can do any and everything for you. This was what I thought. And I think a good number of us thought so too. But then, fast forward to today, 10 years later, my experience of AI is on the keypads of my smartphone that is constantly at war with me, arguing with me all the time. I want to type A, it suggests B. And then I click on it, and then it sends another thing to me. And at the end of the day, you see me have to do what's correct. Oh, this wasn't what I was intending. Are you in my mind? You understand? So we see them as algorithm trying to predict human behavior, predicting what you want to type next, predicting what you want to do next. We see them right now, they are an invisible infrastructure. AI right now is an invisible infrastructure. It is a back-end utility. Nobody sees it, but they run on our applications on a daily basis. We don't see it, but they rule our lives. They rule our world, especially dominating our communication system. So it is not what we thought back then that we are seeing now. But then again, there is a good side to it. How it has made life a lot easier. Taking us from where we did the manual paperwork, especially in public offices where we had a large cache of paper, and we have to do all this paperwork. We would have to manually impute details. We have to do those manual data entries. We have to manually analyze them. We have to, it was a lot. But AI, in milliseconds, can do what? Run this data for us, complete the data entry, run them, analyze them, and then we have our papers. But then again, as we advance, we will see that there is also a downside, to the AI. As much as it is something that has come to help us to reduce the enormous work that we had to do years back, it has also come in another flip. And that flip, most of the time, is an algorithm being really biased, sending wrong information, hallucinating. Ask it one question, it tells you another. You tell it, I think this is wrong. It directs, giving you another thing. At the end of the day, you are torn between taking either this or this. And then, whether you like it or not, while we accept the fact that AI does all of this for us, we don't rule out a human in the loop. For every machine, and for it to function well and effectively, there has to be that human in the loop. Thank you.
Samuel, together for Academic Symposium. You see why I said she's also a scholar. I saw Dr. Ejemi nodding his head, almost hitting his head on the table, in agreement with everything she said. Doctor, sir, please take the mic. That same question. How has been the impact 10 years ago, 2016 to today? Same question, number one. Describe the impact of AI in your own point of view.
Thank you. I am honored. I would like to start with something. I told the moderator yesterday, that's the organizer. I've been having a little fever. I know fever will make one gasless. So my speech will be walking and my culture will be upward. Please.
This type of grammar is easy to provide our
of course, if I'm to respond to that in one word, yes, I would say it is ineffective.
Another round of applause for the people.
Difficult for words to express the impact of AI. Okay? But she said most of them, but there's something I want to correct. Sometimes this year, Donald Trump was having an issue about this auto correction. Sometimes when you are typing, it will just present words, and because you are fast, you could suggest the one that is not even among what you want to write. And that brings us to why we should not make AI to think for us. We shouldn't make AI to judge for us. Because one thing is that AI, no matter what it today, cannot contextualize. You can't tell me about my own village.
Right.
Suppose I'm about writing my name that doesn't exist in those words. Because what AI does, it brings out the millions or billions or trillions of data that it has learned from the internet. Anything that is not there, can bring it out.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ijobi. It's getting hotter in here. Who's feeling the heat?
It cannot bring it out.
All right.
Okay, so and as she said, which made me to nod my head, talking to you students now, based on what I have said, that hallucination, AI is also a big liar. When you ask it a question that it does not know, it will present any data for you. So you need critical thinking yourself.
All right.
You need that power of judgment that I said. And that is where it becomes so important. One thing I like AI for is how it's forcing some of us to go beyond what we're not thinking to do. Seriously. And let me give you the example you say that should give on my part. Earlier this year, there was somebody in my house, quickly, who was sick. He was taken to the hospital. Tests were done, and there was broadband. The PCV of his was 35, and it's a male. The WBC was still lower. Okay, and because it fell within the range of woman and man, which is different. Because woman's own is lower, the doctor judged it that it was okay, everything was okay. Then when I saw it, I said, okay, let's try the example now. And I impute the result. And AI, displayed why this one wasn't normal. Put the W.
Google Scholar and other aspects. But one thing about AI is that, for example, let's say ChatGPT, and it would incorporate these things, do a deep search, and then put it in your face. And not only that, it can also direct you to where it got this information from. So that's why I would say it's also about the involving of technology in also this aspect of the world. Because we are so, in quotes, fascinated about what AI can do here. But I'm telling you, China is living in like 2070 about technology advancement. We're not even, I think we're not even enter 2036 talking about how we can now embrace the use of AI and tech. I feel we are still, even when it started 2018, because in order for us to be able to embrace it, first thing that will happen is that will now bring us into structure and governance, which I really want to take us to that aspect of conversation. But talking about the evolution part, you know, what happens before is whenever we have certain work to do, either paper or anything that concerns academic, it is so natural and analog. You talk to people, focus group, ideas, discussion, pub discussion, friend discussion. So it is somewhat difficult for us to maybe go online to search for these things because, like I would say, it came into this part of the world somewhat late. But talking about it as evolution, I think we are meeting up with trends. We are trying to catch up with trends. So based on this question, I would say that Nigeria currently, when it talks about embracing the advancement of technology and the evolution of it, we are actually meeting up because if you notice, you see some Nigerians, I think we should even have that in majority traveling out of the country, having more experience and then bringing it back home so that we can all evolve together as the world evolves. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing together for him. Thank you. While you were speaking, good evening, sir. A very amazing lecturer walked in, Dr. Lee. Good evening, sir. You're welcome. Please, can you join us on the high table? So we're going to show some questions to you. You know all those your cartography and the map you told us to draw. But I'm going to use that paper you do. In fact, organic you will do you suffer also. He even gave me the result that I did not want to see. Because by using paper, if it was AI, I would have gotten A star. If you can infuse AI to that, what is the name of the course again? What is the name of it? Stop editing. Or how of course that show you AI. Alright, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Alright, the next question goes to you, Mr. Adia. What social and professional trends have been most significantly altered by AI and emerging technologies? What social and professional trends have been most significantly altered by AI?
All right, thank you. If you listen very carefully during my presentation, I think that question has already been addressed because visually almost all the professions are being affected in AI. For instance, I remember during our the time where I passed through the institute, there was an assignment that was given to us. I just want to point to what Dr. said here before I go back to the question. You know, AI to me, or my opinion, I would say that AI cannot lie to you. Because I remember that assignment, and it has to do with a practical assignment. I was asking the AI that question, and it said rightly to me that this I cannot give you an answer. And it gave me the reason why I will not give me the answer. So AI also, if you throw a question that is a kind of practical, it will tell you categorically, I cannot give you answer. So bring me back to the question. Talking about AI, many professions have been affected by this, and I want to tell the audience that we need to also step up again, because I wanted to say that everything that has advantage also has disadvantage, because where we are going now, a lot of people may likely lose their job, because the job that 10 people will do, AI can just, in just few seconds, be able to address it. But I also want to say that AI cannot function or operate without human input.
That's right.
Yeah, so I want to tell the audience, all we need to do is for us to also learn how to, because it's a tool, so we need to learn how to use these tools. If you learn how to use this tool called AI, you won't be out of the job. But if you just look at it, what is this? I mean, I don't really need it. Maybe as a doctor, you say I don't need it. My friend, you need it. Because tomorrow, if you don't know how to use it, then you will be out of job. So AI has eventually affected all the profession. Like for instance, when you go out as a media person to go for reporting, when you gather your information, you write some things. Then when you come back, you now put some of this. AI will now help you to present that your report in a professional and standard way. So those are the things that AI does. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So because we are not actually in a debate, we are not countering any other person's idea, everybody has a right to their opinion based on where they are coming from. So we are not going to be saying who is correct or incorrect. Thank you very much. To support your argument about whether the results come out of false or wrong, I think that is where prompt engineering comes in. This is not for me now. Am I a parent? I'm giving you correct answer, I am not happy. As you said, it's what you put in that you get. If you ask vague questions, if you go around and give you big answer. Alright. Definitely.
Actually, I think the second thing I put here was prompt. And your ability to use artificial intelligence is based on knowing that you are the one prompting the AI, the tool. You are the one prompting it. So you must know how to prompt. It will save you time and it will increase the possibility of accuracy. So prompt, knowing that you are the one prompting the machine is key, and knowing what you want to prompt towards the answer that you require.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so just a very short story. My son is studying software engineering in the university at Preston. He came and there was an assignment he was able to do because I started early. I grew from writing essays. I grew from doing these things myself. And I'm sure most of us within this age group, of course, we know how we all start. This AI thing has come and is trying to revolutionize everything to the point that we give up our cognitive intelligence and then we outsource it to the AI. My son was almost falling into that because there was something that happened one day and I was grateful that it happened. What happened was that there was a mathematical question and assignment he had to solve. He's very good in mathematics. We started solving the question. It was very lengthy. I can't think that maybe a page and a half before he got the final answer. And he was very sure as he was solving. I don't know what prompted him. He copied the question and pasted on AI. And AI solved its own, and got a different answer. So he got him confused. You know, he's been hiding and doing these things. Every day I shout. He didn't say you shouldn't use data. It should aid you. It shouldn't substitute for your head. So he was genuinely surprised and shocked. So he brought his laptop to me. I said, Mommy, come. I should look at this. I looked at it. He said, okay, so who is right and who is wrong? He said he's very sure that he knows what he did. I said, so why did you go to the AI university? You were very sure. For you to go, he said he just wanted a double, a second opinion to be sure that it's correct. And I said, okay, so now that it is wrong, have you been able to spot what is wrong? He said no. I said, okay, now go. Take your time. Run through your process, step by step, line by line, and see whether you got it right or wrong. He did it, and he said he was right. I said, do the same thing for what the AI did. He got to a point. He said, Mommy, I think the AI missed it here. It was supposed to be this and not this. I said, okay, I think so. What should we do now? He said, okay, no, that AI. I said, you have to let this AI know that he's wrong. I said, so tell him, my dear, at this point, you got it wrong. You were supposed to go this way, you went that way. Let's hear what the AI will say. And so he told AI that you were correct up until so point, and then you missed it. You were supposed to write this or type this instead of this. And then AI apologized and said, I'm sorry, oh yes, you're right, I missed it. And so it's recalculated and got the right answer. What am I saying? I don't know whether to say AI lied. But I think that at some point, when it's lots for information, it begins to hallucinate. It begins to put together answers that it thinks is true. It begins to think of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Actually, AI, every time you input into AI, it is learning. It is learning. It is learning from whatever you input into.
Thank you, sir. You guys have Dr. Nick here. I will not answer some of our questions. Dr. Nick, sir. Many students, look at them, see your students, now rely heavily on AI tools for academic work. At what point does this assistance become dependence? At what point will you catch them and fail them? That's the first question.
Thank you very much. You know, too much talk about AI.
It's a trend. It's what's happening.
It's trends and then, like the advice I will have for majority of us. First thing first is, once you know what AI is, try to understand the tools that AI uses to achieve whatever result that is achievable. Okay? So it's very important. That's the beginning point for every learner. So once you know the tools, the various tools available, there are so many of them, and you begin to see there are slight differences too. They are not all the same. Some are emanating from different countries. So there are some kind of mix up here and there. So what Gemini tells you might not be what others. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. And also you should know that each level of learning that we are doing with AI, there are tools already made for it. It's not like AI. AI may not be able to answer everything you ask him. unless you get the right AI tool, that is where you can get the right response that you require. So the assignment I'm giving you is having the ability to know the tools available and what the tools are used for or meant for. Even in lecturing, in teaching, even in marking, there are tools already, put in place for all that. The lecturer can, if he decides to use AI to structure his courses, the marking, doesn't even need to lift a hand. In 30 minutes, he will have finished every damn thing that he wanted to do. You understand? So there are tools like that. It's just that most of us, it's only ChatGPT that we are aware of. There are new ones that are coming out, even as we speak. There are ones, training I undertook online. See, there are so many marking schemes for AI, setting questions, rating, studies and all that. So many things abound. So once you want to use AI, you can ask AI to provide for you the option that you will use. Don't jump in blindly. You might not be able to get what you want. But AI has gone too far. It has gone too far. I inputted a paper I wrote by myself that I discussed in a workshop. I put it to AI that he should produce that paper in no more than 15 pages. Believe me, AI produced almost the same thing I wrote. I was like saying, how did he know that this is how it is? It means that AI is how do I put it? As an invisible brain. Is next to God, after God. The next person is AI. But he seems to know every damn thing. Every damn thing. So that's the contribution I have to make. There's a question you asked. Did I take care of it? So what did you say I should do?
No, I actually, it's the same thing, but I said that everybody, sir, if this person tell you extra passive, you can say what I said.
He can say something like that. But it's
How would he know something like this?
aha. Good. Yes, if somebody is there, it's simple. That's why interactive lectures is different from online lectures. When you teach students, there are some of you, I know you are standard. There are things I know you cannot do. I've given assignment. I will give them assignment to go and write stories. Some people will go and copy from internet or AI or something and bring it. I will read it. I will say impressive. But what you don't know is that the next person will still do the same thing. Two of you may produce the same story at the same time. And when I say somebody copy, everybody is swearing to God that he didn't copy. It has happened in the class. Then I never copied. I'm an old man. How can I go and copy? Dr. Linda was saying, sir, you know me. I know I copy. I said, no problem. And I brought the script. I said, Linda, which one is yours? And I gave it to different people. I said, read the first paragraph. The person read it. I said, read the first paragraph. The person read it. Say, read the second paragraph. He read the same thing. When he got to the third paragraph, he began to change. So I now say, how did it happen? They were like, now wow. But apart from that, what you don't know is that there are ways of measuring AI. You can't use AI to write anything. There are tools in the system. So if you finish writing, I will just copy it in my system, weigh it in AI. AI will underline all of them. I'm telling you that this work is 90% AI. There is only 5% that the person contributed. If it's not like that, everybody will enter the university, finish a PhD, finish a master's degree, and jump out. Even before AI, Grammarly was doing it. So it will tell you the amount, the percentage of copying in a work. So it's existing. Lecturers have it. I have Grammarly. I don't have, there's new one for AI. I don't have it. Because none of you have started using AI. No, there's no how. There's no how to say we can read a work and not know what AI is.
But they know I told them.
It's not possible. It's not possible. If you like, right? If you surprise me, I'll call you to my office and ask you a question. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but I'm telling you, don't allow your brain to be taken away. Exercise it. Because very soon, almost everything has gone into AI. AI knows virtually everything about anybody right now. So that's how we know. There are tools for
I'm just telling them so that they will not be happy that we're discussing AI. And tomorrow, they say, sir, send your question, we're ready for you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. HMP. You're going to answer the next question. How can educational institutions promote responsible AI usage while preserving critical thinking and originality? After you, Dr. Shehu will answer the same question. Please go ahead.
The teacher just told us that don't allow AI to do your work completely for you. And I said earlier, don't let it think for you. I don't know whether it's your own universities, because I know all of you are postgraduate students. In my own university, in the general studies, we were taught use of library. And AI is like library, mobile library, the largest library on earth. So I think it should be taught. The use of AI should be taught in school. Okay? We should, and the teachers too should be first to gain that knowledge. So that, as he said, they are sorry gaining, and that's why he said we can identify when you present that. Okay? So teachers first should be taught, then we should be taught. And another thing, we shouldn't consider it as like competing with AI. No, we should always partner with it. So we teach our students to partner with it, because one thing is that, like the traditional library, if you go there in 10 days, you could not discover what you want in the catalog. But AI can give you in a second. That is why it's very important for us to learn, for our teachers to teach our students. It's a current library, and we have to teach our students the use of it and how to make. Let me remind us something again. Another general study, English. We're taught summary in English language in secondary school. That summary, if you don't know, is what you were taught in nursery, primary school as qualitative thinking. And AI is impacting that seriously. I have observed that. I told you earlier that it's pushing me to go there I don't even think I wanted to go. Okay, so we should teach them that critical thinking. Okay, it's all about it. So we shouldn't, he has said it, don't deny students. But you too equip yourself to challenge the students. And that's why I want to briefly say about what our moderator said, that we shouldn't question what somebody said. Maybe I put it in another word. But in academic discourse, you have to. And that is why they will ask you to explain, discourse, refute in your examination. You should learn that. You can't just take one side. Someone like nuances will tell us that for a theory to be adequate, you must go through 3 levels. First, it is observed. Second, it is described. And third, it must be explained. The explanation means you are telling the people why it is the way it is. If you observe that Shehu is here, you have to describe Shehu. Why is Shehu what Shehu is? You have to tell the students. So please.
Thank you very much. Let's hand over the microphone to Dr. Shehu. Thank you, sir.
Those of you who've been in my international communications class know that one of the things we look at is the industrial revolutions and you know from the assignments you've written or the assignment you wrote on Industrial Revolution, you know that every revolution had positive and negative effects. In fact, every revolution is initially resisted, but eventually the revolution is accepted with modifications. And the example I like to give is in communications, for instance, the use of internet and so on and so forth. You discover that by the time you're using certain things online, the technological revolution is in Abuja. The laws that now make it useful, they are in Kaduna. So the laws will always play catch up because it takes time to put together the do's and the don'ts of the use of new technology. So the point I want to make, actually, based on this about AI, is that in the use of AI, especially in the educational field, we have what we call the educational scaffold. You know the scaffolding that builders use when they want to put scaffold around the buildings. It's the same thing. And this scaffold, educational scaffolding, it's in several parts. One, it's understanding the core principles of responsible use. In other words, if you're using AI, I was going to say UI. If you're using AI, you must know that there is a burden of responsibility on your part. That the major downside of AI is that the more you use it without being responsible, you lose your cognitive thinking. Because you are surrendering all your ability to think for yourself to a machine tool. And you are allowing the machine to do thinking for you. And the machine has a limit of creation. In fact, at some times when you are prompting the machine to do something, it will tell you that I am not emotional. I don't know if you've come across that. You prompted somebody to tell you that I can do so and so, but I'm not emotional. I'm a machine. I'm not emotional. And your cognitive ability is tied to your emotions. So it is part of the scaffolding that you must always understand that there are core principles of responsible use. One is the human in the loop. In other words, AI should assist, not decide. Two, data privacy and safety. Student data must never be fed into open-ended public models without strict privacy. Two, equity and accessibility. All right, and transparency and academic integrity. That was what Dr. Neeb was mentioning. Academic integrity. When you all go and feed in the same thing, then you end up copying. In fact, yesterday in the class we had, you remember my class? You remember?
Yes.
You remember that issue?
Yes.
When I emphasized seriously about academic integrity, that overseas is so serious that you can be thrown out of the university over issues of academic integrity. So that, yes, because whether you like it or not, the example of the Nigeria now is a classic example of plagiarism, even though they did it unconsciously. Okay, but that was plagiarism. Two, there are practical frameworks for the classroom. Okay, there should be a red level status where it tells you for certain things AI is not allowed. Okay, then there should be a yellow area where you can allow AI to assist you. For instance, I've done a lecture. You can go and do research with AI to fill in the gap, especially postgraduate studies. You know you only have 9 months, but within that 9 months you are learning so much. So to assist whatever you've done, yes, you can use AI to understand other things that we were not able to discuss in the what is it called, two credit course. In a 2 credit course. Then there's a yellow level level where AI is permitted for specific support tasks, okay? And then students must cite that I use AI here, okay? And then, of course, there's the area of green, you are permitted to use full AI integration in your work. But what are the best practices for educators and students? For educators, shift assessment models. Focus more on the process of learning, okay? In class discussions, oral presentations, project drafts. What needs summarized as interactive teaching in the class, okay? When you give your answers, the lecturer will know whether you are actually in class, okay, from the way you present your answer. Then there's a need to teach AI literacy. We must not run away from AI. We have to teach AI literacy, which is part of what we are doing here now. And of course, we must reclaim administrative time. Now for students, treat AI as a Socratic tutor. You know Socrates?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you find out what Socrates did as a teacher. Then you now know how he used AI as a Socratic tutor. And then, of course, fact check everything. Gemini will check that at the bottom, will give you a caveat at the bottom that AI is prone to making errors. That's what Gemini will tell you at the bottom. It's prone to making errors. And then, of course, protect your personal data.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Echebe wants to add 2 sentences.
Sorry, when I make my last point, I wanted to say something, but because I was watching the time and doing it. You see, when I brought that theory of explanatory analysis, I wanted to show something to our teachers. When they present their work and we mark it, there should be class exercises. Then come telling us why when they presented the assignment they made, they should explain why it is the way they think it is. That is where you know who did it and who AI did it for. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Nkiru, I've left you for a long time. Once you hear feminine voice, deep voices. Let's hear your sweet voice. Let's go to the future of work. Will AI create more jobs than it eliminates, or should we prepare for a significant workforce disruption? Thank you.
Okay, I think AI will do both. I think it will displace some jobs. I think also that it will create jobs. It will displace existing jobs, it will create new jobs. How do I mean? In fact, this point was also corroborated by the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs Report 2025-2026, where it said...
See a scholar. See what I was telling people yesterday? Scholar.
Please tell your hand to that for myself. That is all I
It said that while AI and related tech will displace as much as 92 million jobs by 2030, that same AI and tech related will also create as much as 170 million jobs by the same 2030. So for me, that's a net gain, almost almost 80 million, right? Jobs to be created. But the thing is this, where we have a problem is in the transition gap. Because it is not those who are displaced immediately that will be absorbed. It is not those who are out in the 92 million that will be in the 170 million. Now, this report from the World Economic Forum is a compendium of perspective of over 1,000 leading employers of labor in the world. And for them to be the highest employers of labor you should trust to a reasonable extent that this is true. The problem will be where? In the shift gap, in the transition gap. What will happen to those who are used to the manual ways of doing this things? Those who are used to the manual ways of doing this things? What would you do? So it calls for what? Re-skill. It calls for what? Up-skill. It calls for what? Intentionality. Deliberately seek knowledge and upgrade yourself. Now, there's something called the domain AI, domain specific. In your field, every field has an AI. I don't care if you're a farmer, I don't care if you're a teacher, whatever you are, every field of human endeavor, every sector of human endeavor has its AI, which is called. Exactly. In fact, we have the head people here, right?
Yes.
We have the head people
here.
And I know that there is an AI way of making efficient sale, of the head. So the AI of everything, AI of E, will allow you to drill down to your domain and understand how AI can profit your profession, how it can profit what you're doing at the time. It is those people who are able to quickly transition. Those are the people that will be absorbed in 170 million that the World Economic Forum spoke about. So, in fact, we were once here some time ago. I don't know whether to say we. That was in the early or mid-1980s, where the first electronic spreadsheet was invented. The Microsoft itself. In fact, the paper as accountants. What do they call them? The bookkeepers were all crying. Right? They were all crying because there was nothing for them to do. They were all thrown into panic. And at the end of the day, what happened? Why were they crying? That AI has come and it will displace them of their jobs. But what did it do? It did, maybe to an extent. But it created a lot more. The financial analysts, the consultants, and in that sphere. So until you are able to upgrade yourself, to be able to find a place in the AI of things of your domain, there is no space for you. Thank you.
That your hands together. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. How should universities redesign curricula to prepare graduates for the future of work? If you can't, I can give it to.
I would say that the old curriculum that we have, I think currently Nigeria is also reviewing the curriculum of that.
In fact, every day.
Looking at that, the new curriculum that universities have to come up with have to include the AI, just like you said, it becomes like a course, which I know is already ongoing. That it's a course that people go and study on how to use that. So in doing that, it will help people in future jobs.
Thank you so much. This is everything. Put your hands together for him. Doctor, please, hold on.
Let me just add that.
Yes, sir.
As an educator, one of the things every responsible educator should do is to run his or her current curriculum through AI before the beginning of the semester. And you will see areas in which your current curriculum, that course you're in, will changes can be made. And I know that my student last academic session, international competition, we ended with something which we hadn't done previously, because I had done an AI assessment of my curriculum, and I saw we had to move from because of paradigm shift. You all remember paradigm shift?
Yes, sir.
Paradigm shift. In the course of paradigm shift, we have to now incorporate solutions to that.
I'm going to give us the expo in that. Please pass the mic to content. I would like to take that question. You are currently in the academic space, and with reference to what Mr. Akia said in the BC, I'm amazed at how the Minister of Education every day seems to be toppling one policy, and what he said was that no more textbooks. Everything will now be soft copies. So I told my son, bring all the textbooks home. I want to be seeing new Oxford English mathematics. We've abolished you have 3 children in the school. Each one has to buy fresh books. Schools were doing that. Say no more. Now it's not going to be. It's a conversation they're having. Now let's see the universities. But it's attention. That's
Okay, thank you. So, I think because I'm far, that's why I'm making that sound. Okay, so now the thing is, all must understand about this as it relates to the education system trying to now maybe roll out this hard copy is. I even find a fault in some of these policies that the Ministry of Education normally brings. It's as though they don't think about some things. And what happens is it leaves us in a conundrum of dilemma. So somehow we are confused and we are asking questions. Now, firstly, we will take a look at these things. We see based on society. Can this thing really thrive or the truth in this country, not even in Africa, because we're going too far in this country, and that's right. Now, the thing is that even if that is incorporated, now it's also going to cause stress in the sense that can this really go around the urban and rural? We have network issues in Nigeria, please settle that, and now we want to all of a sudden change, want to be maintained. It can't happen. It can't happen. So one of the things that I feel that can now be done is instead of trying to scrap these hard copies, we can also have a balance. Because this thing is individual centric. And I like hard copies and at the same time soft copies. But there are some they prefer soft copies. I remember when I started doing my masters, it was all soft copies. I had to also print hard copies, but I was trying to now manage to have this switch. It was difficult, but I've been used to hard copies, and now we are trying to advance to okay, let's do everything digital. I had to now be able to adjust so that I can also do the online and also the hard copy. But in all, to hide this, I would also want to say something. The question you threw to Mrs. Ikero. Now, when the discourse of AI came into play, it was first of all perceived as a threat. That's why sometimes we are scared that we think, there was a conversation that was being rampant at that time that AI is going to take work. Meanwhile, it is those who master the use of, that's why it's called machine learning. It is not all sufficient. It is what we give to it that it will also use to enhance its own knowledge. So whenever people tend to ask questions, it gives it to them. So it's a two-edged sword. It learns and then you also learn machine learning. I don't know if you've seen some of these adverts on YouTube where you are watching a video then another just pop up that this is the new hire. He still uses Microsoft or still uses Excel, and then you see that the new hire has a higher pay, but the one who is old in the company is receiving low. Prior to that advert, you see what happened along the line. The oldie had to go and take AI courses to now improve himself, and then he now added to his own resume, and then to his own that he now galvanized to receiving a very low stipend to to high school age. What I'm trying to say is that we should harmonize learning AI and also practicing with it rather than just depending on it for all we do. It can serve as help or assistance, but not just us depending on it totally.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together.
In all the curriculum we design, I am most interested in how it fits for the students. Like my other panelists, other members have also spoken on how we should redesign the curriculum in such a manner that it privileges process over product. We said it. Process over product. We want to see how you did it. Right? Yes, because the old ways, or well, how we grew up, we were meant to memorize 500 pages of textbooks. So it was more of what you knew then. But right now, AI is, pivoting towards what you do with what you know and how you use it to solve an immediate problem in your domain. What you do with what you know. Because facts are everywhere now, they are free. Click on AI, you can use it to deconstruct very complex, concepts and all of that. That's what you can use AI to do that. So if AI can do that, why do we have to go so much trying to memorize the textbooks? Understanding it is okay, but then knowing the process. Because in the real world, in the world of work, it is the process that we will see. In fact, whatever we do in the classroom should mirror the field. Whatever we do in the classroom. And that is why we have to remodel into, problem solving, going from, having to memorize into critical judgment. Okay, this thing that we have a plethora of information, to choose from. Which one of them, according to your judgment, most suits this problem? Which one of them can provide the most optimal solution to the problem we have at hand? Until we begin to do it immersively, we begin to transform our classrooms into a simulation center for what we are to meet in future. Our children will end up memorizing and regurgitating an exam day. And at the end of the day, you award them a master's degree. It is the AI you are awarding, not the students.
Wow. Thank you very much. Dr. Nick, I was waiting for you to come back. We're going to media now. How has AI affected the credibility of information and public trust in media and knowledge sources? How has AI affected the credibility of information and public trust in media?
Yeah. A very interesting question. The answer to this question could be derived from Western media experiences. Nigerian media experiences is very funny. But the kind of practice we put on here is a funny situation. Situation where armchair journalism. Have you heard of armchair journalism?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean? Armchair journalism.
When you sit back without attending an event to get the after-fact photos and harvest information from this.
Yeah. When you sit back without participating in an event, but you are telling people how the event went. How do you see it? Like a history. So the Nigerian media space is a funny situation, and AI, we no longer read. Yes, the Nigerian society hardly read. If you do a census now, you find out that those of us here, maybe one or two persons are reading any book at the present. And it is possible that majority of us here have not even touched the newspaper in the last 6 months. And the phone that you are holding, which you claim you read online, you can mention a particular medium that you normally read from. So, AI affecting the media space is a very difficult conclusion to reach. Any scholar reaching any conclusions as regards Nigeria is merely being an academic, attempt, which will end up in futility. Because Nigerians don't read, our politicians don't read. The audiences, readers, they hardly try to read. So, issues arising in Nigeria, more or less, depends only on feelings. That's why sometimes, even when you see real videos, people end up telling you it's AI. It's AI. So nothing is true anymore. So AI, whether it's playing a role or not, is very difficult in the present Nigeria, where you see people in an event and later they will deny it.
Yes.
And the media will not insist. The funny thing is that the media that know that they saw the person will support the person that is saying it's an AI. They will not call the person short and say it's a lie. We saw it. So what kind of practice is that? What kind of analysis do you want me to give you? In a system that has no focus. So that's about system. If you go to other countries, you'll be surprised the amount of reading that people still do. Even when leadership are falling in Nigeria and Africa, even around the world, but you still find newspapers selling as much as 5 million copies a day in some countries. And you enter also and you see that everybody is busy reading.
Alright.
But it doesn't happen. So the reality is that I don't like wasting my time reaching theoretical conclusions that are baseless. It doesn't add knowledge to anybody. Saying that AI has affected. AI has not affected anything. Nigerians are just using AI to deceive themselves. That's what Nigerian media is doing. You can't rely on a journalist. Very, very few of them that will call a spade. In fact, 70% of Nigerian journalists are looking for opportunities to find themselves in positions where they will make ends meet, rather than serving the people. It's not the AI that is causing it. That's the situation.
Alright, sir. Just your hands together. Thank you, Dr. Lee. And Dr. Lee has raised a very important point, talking about the ethics of AI. Because it is used by human beings. It's good. In fact, AI is neutral. AI is neither good or bad. It depends on who is handling true or false. So now, in media, as journalists, on what side are you, good or bad? You control the narrative. We're running up now in 1 second. What of 1 minute? The last question. Everybody will take this. What concerns you the most about the next decade of AI development? Dr. Ejemi, what worries you the most about the next decade?
Yes, I think it's all about this fear that we are expressing. Instead of us to make ourselves prepared for what is coming ahead, we are expressing fear. So that is the most concern. And the other concern quickly is you developing yourself because AI, with everybody knowing how to do it, will be presenting plethora of misinformation. So you have to know, that is another concern. So that if we don't build ourselves, definitely there will be a problem in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Doctor, please hold on. You say yours last. Sir, what excites you the most about the opportunity AI is presenting in the next decade? What excites you the most?
Okay. What excites me most is that it has made, or it's going to make my job very easy. Like I said, it saves time and it makes my job very easy. That's what I think that what is that when you want to do a project or when you want to do something, it takes time. So it saves time.
Please give it going to Madam Ikiru. Madam Ikiru, what concerns you the most?
What concerns me the most? In fact, Dr. Lee searched through my mind while he spoke. First of all, I am very worried from lack of tools. Yes, because we do not use the brain muscles begins to shrink. That is one. Two, another thing that concerns me is what Dr. Nick spoke about, the liar's dividend. So you see someone, because we have gotten to a stage of, because it's all over the place now that AI can read out false information out there. People can use it using the deepfakes to create false audio, false video. At some point, it gets to a situation where people no longer know what to believe and what to trust. So if you show me anything, the first thing that comes to my mind, I will first of all dismiss it as AI before I begin to check to know whether it's real or not. Now you see all of us drifting to that situation where we believe that nothing can be so true.
Very correct.
Yes, we get to that state of nihilism where we believe that we can't have it all true. And then it takes us to that point where you have the liar video, where politicians can wake up one morning and appear somewhere and say he did not appear.
Exactly.
Right? Because we know that there is the prevalence of what? False information, being able to get false information out of AI, and then you see them using that, leveraging that situation to do what? To cause it. Exactly.
Thank you. All right. Now, Dr. Shilsa, if you could give one piece of advice to students, researchers, and professionals navigating an AI-driven world, what will it be?
We must use AI from the perspective. Their own cognitive creativity is what stands out, is what they are aiming for as the outcome, not relying on ECA.
Thank you very much, sir. Very well said. Jam your hands together for all the panelists. Thank you. This symposium.
Sorry.
Okay.
I want to, for example, please, you're there, I used to tell people, when you don't understand question, you tend to answer wrongly. Basically, my answer the last time this was actually because I didn't get the question very correct. Look at consign. So what consigns? That's I'm talking about the more of the negative aspects of the AI. So the answer I gave was actually in all summary, what I say is that my concern is that our generation will become so lazy that we lose our brain.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Clap your hands together for everybody on the panel. We want just 2 reactions from those of us. Wow, see sharp hands. 2 guys and a lady. Ladies first.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the conversation thus far. I think I've gained a lot of knowledge for what we're saying. But I also want to speak to something. So, listening, felt like at some point there was a lot of things being said about artificial intelligence that was now becoming like a god as far as superior in a sense. And then I want to speak to that also because if you've used AI, especially for Gen Zs and then other generations, right? So please, if you've used it long enough, you begin to find out that there are actually biases, right? So we have a lot of biases with AI. And one of the things I noticed with media, especially when it has to do with artificial intelligence and then the Western, all of that. Now, if you take a picture that has a white person and a black person, sorry, not really black, but a white person and a Nigerian, let's say that is dark in complexion. Now, if you go back to that picture and look at it, you will notice that the third person looks way clearer than the other person. Now, I've noticed that over a period of time, and I began to ask questions. Okay, why is this the way it is? And then someone explained to me that one of the reasons why we have scenarios like that is because most of the training, I think someone also spoke about machine learning, that is training AI. Because whatever AI knows is from the bulk of information out there. Now, it points to the fact that the bulk of information used in training this artificial intelligence actually Western. So AI can easily recognize that when compared to recognizing a black person, right? So I'm saying this, I'm using this instance also to other areas. Now, when it also comes to Gen Zs, now one of the important things about us is that we are loud. There are a lot of information. Everybody has a podcast, everybody's saying something, and so many information is going out. But my problem with so many information going out is it looks like the loudest person now owns the room, and we don't actually get quality information. So this is more like an appeal to everybody sitting down here, especially to the higher persons that we have, our teachers. Now, if we are able to also speak, now our teacher, it's not like you're not speaking, but maybe you're not saying so much yet. So I think that it's important that we hear you out there. We hear you saying the right things. For Nigerians and Africans, we have our cultural nuances, right? And buying everything the Western culture gives us quick line and sinker because it is AI, because we find it out there. It's not the right way to go. We are slowly and gradually losing what makes us African. So I think that if we can have more of your voices out there, speaking and saying the things that we actually need to hear, I think it will go a long way in helping us to train AI. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Zingi Adedu. I want to stand on the existing protocols. Mine is just partly contribution to what the panelists have said. Then just a quick question as well, if it's possible for us to answer. I was privileged to be in a seminar, previous seminar, sometimes in November last year, organized by the Center of Journalism, Innovation and Development, Premium Times owners. And part of the 3 days event, there was a section that was dedicated to AI. And I think what I learned from that event was that there are 2 parts to it, whether it's the fear of bridging the gap of job loss, or the user's aspect and the developer's aspect. Part of what was raised was that a lot of issues with AI. First, we discovered that there was need to encourage local developers to go into to tilt their interest into the areas of contributing their own part to this AI innovation. What am I trying to say? What I picked from the address that was given by the convener at the class yesterday before I decided to attend this event was that part of the aim of this symposium was to harness ideas from scholars and see how we can plug it in back into the AI data bank. Because if you see AI as witchcraft or one invisible entity somewhere, then you are getting it wrong. AI is actually a harvest of algorithms that you said you were thinking of a red car, and AI showed you a red car. Probably at some point in your social media account, when they ask you some of those information you provide, your likes and dislikes, they must have spotted your favorite colors.
It was too much of a coincidence.
Okay, I'm coming. At some point, you must have, given that information about what your favorite color were. In some of those platforms, maybe some of those, whether Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, you sometimes they just give you that long agreement to agree to. But how many of us really go through this agreement before we click agree and push on when we try to open those social media accounts?
All right.
But the point I really want to make is that we now discover that we need to develop softwares that AI applications that will address our own local problems. For example, several young people came up with different platforms that could, and this point is very important, different platforms that could use for example, verification of fake news, for example. When there is a news out there and you want to know whether it's AI or it's real stories, people are beginning to think towards that end where we would use local AI tools to verify local stories. And if you check AI in the initial stage, when you even see videos of AI with voice over running under it, you will discover that most of these voices are always sounding Western because the origin of those AI apps were Western then.
Thank you
but
very
now
much.
also discover that we can actually have AIs that will be local to us.
Thank you.
That we use to develop content in here.
Thank you.
That will reflect our own immediate environment.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Good evening, everybody.
good evening.
My name is David Achebulu, and I just want to speak to one point. I mean, it's been an interesting conversation listening to everybody, but I can't speak exact word for word what the response to this question was on the table, but the panelists when they were asked what their concern is in the near future. On the aggregate, there was a lot of negative concerns about people being overly reliant on artificial intelligence in the detriment of the use of their own brains. I beg to differ a bit. It's a valid concern, but in the history of mankind, and Dr. Shehu alluded to that as well, generally speaking, crime is always miles ahead of law enforcement. So it takes someone to jump through the roof before architects decide, like, okay, let's start using concrete to roof houses. Like, something negative always happens to precede the corrective measure. As parents, if your child falls down, you realize, like, oh, keep the floor dry, or something like that. I say all that to say, in as much as there are these negative tendencies, which is a reflection of human nature, and like my colleague just said, newsrooms around the world are already using AI to fact-check stories and news. Like on X, there's a grok icon that is there that can. So these things are evolving. Why isn't AI to counter, like my lecturer said, there are already AI tools that can check plagiarism. So those things are coming up. I think where emphasis should lie heavily is on orientation and adaptability and what do you call it, policy communication. how to pass this knowledge to the critical mass. And lastly, I would say the optimist invented the aeroplane, the pessimist invented the parachute. They both work together.
A very good place to end. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, God said, get ready for both of them, so wrapping up.
Okay, please, just a way of concluding and then summarizing all that they have said. The question then was what concerns you. And something that concerns you is something not palatable. So if she had asked earlier what excites you, and that's where these positive things we're talking about had come up. Her question was what concerns you, and there is something worrisome. So that was why everybody was sounding negative. So if I may just correct that. Now, on the red card, she talked about something called algorithm. Putting together everything. The AI has a way of predicting your behavior, your likes, your dislikes. If you type one thing, it picks it, it records it. I think she likes this. And tomorrow, as you flip through your phone, as you do scroll, you see it coming over and coming over. And then at some point, it creates what is called echo chambers, where it places you on a particular corner, feeding you with those things you like, so that any external idea that contradicts what you have in your head is a wrong idea. So at the end of the day, it is a repetitive cycle. It looks, for you as far as you're concerned, it is what you know that is the right thing. Because it is your likes that is in that echo chamber. Do you understand? So if you decide to disagree at any point, or somebody disagrees with you at any point, you will begin to see that it is not just about what you know, that it has confined you to your view and it's not good. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Algorithm, reading informer.
Dr. Shehu is rounding up this session.
What you were saying about lighting up, black and white people. Actually, if you do basic filmmaking, it's one of the things you learn in the lighting technique. It's a lot easier to light up fair skinned people than dark skinned people. And so you see the algorithm is just a reflection of an existing knowledge.
No.
Okay, so that has just been transferred to whatever your Gen Z people are using when they make pictures on their smartphones. Okay? So it's up for us to, like I keep saying, we need paradigm shift. Also find out how can we light up that.
And we need history.
Yes,
knowledge of history.
Knowledge of history in a way that has not been done before. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're come to the end, and I want to give the mic now to the convener. Have you enjoyed yourself today? Please jam your hands together.
Thank you everyone for staying till this time. Most importantly, I want to also thank the panelists. Thank you so much, Dr. Louis, Dr. Shehu, and Mr. Udubisi, Mrs. Iluso, and yes, Dr. Nick, and thank you, and Dr. Udo, and also everyone here. Thank you so much for making it a day. The honest truth is that without you, there wouldn't be this academic symposium. So your presence counts, and then it also serves to the success of this. And we look forward to having second edition. We'll be here with someone else. But then thank you so much for making the big edition fantastic and fabulous. Thank you so much, and I think we should thank you so much. Please, let's not take room. Google Scholar and other aspects. But one thing about AI is that, for example, when I say ChatGPT, and it will incorporate these things, do a deep search, and then put it in your face And not only that, it can also direct you to where you got this information from. So that's why I would say it's also about the involving of technology in also this aspect of the world. Because we are so, in quotes, fascinated about what AI can do again. But I'm telling you, China is living in like 2070 about technology advancement. We're not even, I think we're not even enter 2026 talking about how we can now embrace the use of AI and tech. I feel we are still, even when it started 2018. Because in order for us to be able to embrace it, first thing that will happen is that will now bring us into structure and governance, which I will want to take us to that aspect of conversation. But talking about the evolution part, what happens before is whenever we have certain work to do, either paper or anything that concerns academic, it is so natural and analog. You talk to people, focus group, ideas, discussion, pub discussion, friendly discussion. So it is somewhat difficult for us to maybe go online to search for these things because, like I would say, you came into this part of the world somewhat late. But talking about it as evolution, I think we are meeting up with trends. We are trying to catch up with trends. So based on this question, I would say that Nigeria currently, when it talks about embracing the advancement of technology and the evolution of it, we are actually meeting up because if you notice, you see some Nigerians, I think we don't even have that in majority, traveling out of the country, having more experience and then bringing it back home so that we can all evolve together as the world evolves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together for him. Thank you. While he was speaking, good evening, sir. A very amazing lecturer walked in, Dr. Lee. Good evening, sir. You're welcome. Please, can you join us on the high table? So we're going to throw some questions to you. You know all those your cartography and the map you us to draw. But I'm going to look at the high table. In fact, organic, you suffer from even gave me the result that I did not want to see. Because by using paper, it was AI that was the A star. It had infused AI. So that's what is the name of the course again? What is the name of the Stop editing. Or how of course we have show you AI. Alright, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Alright, the next question goes to you, Mr. Abia. What social and professional trends have been most significantly altered by AI and emerging technologies? What social and professional trends have been most significantly altered by AI?
All right, thank you. If you listen very carefully during my presentation, I think that question has already been addressed because visually almost all the professions are being affected in AI. For instance, I remember during our the time where I passed through the institute, there was an assignment that was given to us. I just want to point to what Dr. said aside here before I go back to the question. You know, AI to me, or my opinion, I would say that AI cannot lie to you. Because I remember that assignment, and it has to do with a practical assignment. I was asking the AI that question, and it said rightly to me that this I cannot give you an answer. And he gave me the reason why I will not give me the answer. So AI also, if you throw a question that is mechanics, the practical, it will tell you categorically, I cannot give you answer. So bring me back to the question. Talking about AI, many professions have been affected by this, and I want to tell the audience that we need to also step up again, because I wanted to say that everything that has advantage also has disadvantage, because where we are going now, a lot of people may likely lose their job, because the job that 10 people will do, AI can just, in just a few seconds, be able to address it. But I also want to say that AI cannot function or operate without human input.
That's right.
Yeah, so I want to tell you that all we need to do is for us to also learn how to, because it's a tool, so we need to learn how to use these tools. If you learn how to use this tool called AI, you won't be out of the job. But if you just look at it, what is this? I don't really need it. Maybe as a doctor, you say that you don't need it. My friend, you need it. Because tomorrow, if you don't know how to use it, then you will be out of job. So AI has eventually affected all the profession. Like for instance, when you go out as a media person to go for reporting, when you gather your information, you write some things. Then when you come back, you now put some of this. AI will now help you to present that your report in a professional and standard way. So those are the things that AI does. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So because we are not actually in the debate, we are not countering any other person's idea, everybody has a right to their opinion based on where they are coming from. So we are not going to be saying who is correct or incorrect. Thank you very much. To support your argument about whether the results come out of false or wrong, I think that is where prompt engineering comes in. This is not for me now. I'm giving you correct as they are not happening. As you said, it's what you put in that you get. If you ask vague questions, if you go around and give you big answer. Alright. Definitely.
Actually, I think the second thing I put here was prompt. And your ability to use artificial intelligence is based on knowing that you are the one prompting the AI, the tool, you are the one prompting. So you must know how to prompt. It will save you time and it will increase the possibility of accuracy. So prompt, knowing that you are the one prompting the machine is key, and knowing what you want to prompt towards the answer that you require.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so just a very short story. My son is studying software engineering in the university at Preston. He came and there was an assignment he was needed to do because I started early. I grew from writing essays. I grew from doing these things myself. And I'm sure most of us within this meeting, of course, we know how we all started. This AI thing has come and it's trying to revolutionize everything to the point that we give up our cognitive intelligence and then we outsource it to the AI. My son was almost falling into that because there was something that happened one day and I was grateful that it happened. What happened was that there was a mathematical question and assignment he had to solve. He's very good in mathematics. We started solving the question. It was very lengthy. I think that maybe a week and a half before he got the final answer. And he was very sure as he was solving. I don't know what prompted him. He copied the question and pasted on AI. And AI solved its own. And got a different answer. So he got him confused. You know, he's been hiding and doing these things. Every day I keep shouting. I didn't say you shouldn't use data. It should aid you. It shouldn't substitute for your head. So he was genuinely surprised and shocked. So he brought his laptop to me. I said, "Mommy, come. I should look at this." I looked at it. He said, "Okay, so who is right and who is wrong?" He said he's very sure that he knows what he did. I said, "So why did you go to the AI in the hospital?" You were very sure. For you to go, he said he just wanted to like a double, a second opinion to be sure that it's correct. And I said, "Okay, so now that it is wrong, have you been able to spot what is wrong?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, now go. Take your time. Run through your process, step by step, line by line, and see whether you got it right or wrong." He did it, and he said he was right. I said, "Do the same thing for what the AI did." He got to the point. He said, "Mommy, I think the AI missed it here. It was supposed to be this and not this." I said, "Okay, I think so. What should we do now?" He said, "Okay, no, that AI." I said, "You have to let this AI know that he's wrong." I said, "So tell him, my dear, at this point, you got it wrong. You were supposed to go this way, you went that way. Let's hear what the AI will say." And so he told AI that you were correct up until so point. And then you missed it. You were supposed to write this or type this instead of this. And then AI apologized and said, "I'm sorry, oh yes, you're right, I missed it." And so it's recalculated and got the right answer. What am I saying? I don't know whether to say AI lied. But I think that at some point when it lots for information, it begins to hallucinate. It begins to put together answers that it thinks is true. It begins to think of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Actually, AI, every time you input into AI, it is learning. It is learning. It is learning from whatever you input into.
Thank you, sir. We can't have Dr. Lee here. I will not answer some of our questions. Dr. Lee, sir.
Yeah.
Many students, look at them, see your students, now rely heavily on AI tools for academic work. At what point does this assistance become dependence? At what point do you catch them and fail them? That's the question.
Thank you very much. You know, too much talk about AI.
It's a trend. It's what's happening.
It's trend, and then, like advice I will have for majority of us. First thing first is, once you know what AI is, try to understand the tools that AI uses to achieve whatever result that is achievable. Okay? So it's very important. That's the beginning point for every learner. So once you know the tools, the various tools available, there are so many of them, and you begin to see there are slight differences too. They are not all the same. Some are emanating from different countries. So there are some kind of mix up here and there. So what Gemini tells you might not be what others. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. And also you should know that each level of learning that we are doing with AI, there are tools already made for it. It's not like AI may not be able to answer everything you ask him. Unless you get the right AI tool, that is where you can get the right response that is required. So the assignment I'm giving you is having the ability to know the tools available and what the tools are used for or meant for. Even in lecturing, in teaching, even in marking, there are tools already, put in place for all that. The lecturer can, if he decides to use AI to structure his courses, the marking, doesn't even need to lift a hand. In 30 minutes, he would have finished every damn thing that he wanted to do. You understand? So there are tools like that. It's just that most of us, it's only ChatGPT that we are aware of. There are new ones that are coming out, even as we speak. There are ones, training I undertook online. See, there are so many marking schemes for AI, setting questions, rating, studies and all that. So many things abound. So once you want to use AI, you can ask AI to provide for you the option that you will use. Don't jump in blindly. You might not be able to get what you want. But AI has gone too far. It has gone too far. I inputted a paper I wrote by myself that I discussed in a workshop. I put it to AI that he should produce that paper in no more than 15 pages. Believe me, AI produced almost the same thing I wrote. I was like saying, how did you know that this is how it is? It means that AI is how do I put it? As an invisible brain. Is next to God, after God. The next person is AI. Because he seems to know every damn thing. Every damn thing. So that's the contribution I have to make. I don't know, there's a question you asked. Did I take care of it? So what did you say I should do?
No, I actually it's the same thing, but I said that everybody, sir, if this person tell you extra passive, you can say what I said.
He can say something like that.
How would he know that is?
Aha. Good. Yes, if somebody is there, it's simple. That's why interactive lectures is different from online lectures. When you teach this, there are some of you, I know you are standard. There are things I know you cannot do. I've given assignment, I will give them assignment to go and write stories. Some people will go and copy from internet or AI or something and bring it. I will read it. I will say impressive. But what you don't know is that the next person will still do the same thing. The two of you may produce the same story at the same time. And when I say somebody copy, everybody is swearing to God that they didn't copy. It has happened in the class. Then I never copied. I'm an old man. How can I go and copy? Dr. Linda was saying, sir, you know me. I said, no problem. And I brought the script. I said, Linda, which one is yours? And I gave it to different people. I said, read the first paragraph. The person read it. I said, read the first paragraph. The person read it. Say, read the second paragraph. He read the same thing. When he got to the third paragraph, he began to change. So I now say, how did it happen? They were like, now wow. But apart from that, what you don't know is that there are ways of measuring AI. You can't use AI to write anything. There are tools in the system. So if you finish writing, I will just copy it in my system, weigh it in AI. AI will underline all of them. I'm telling you that this work is 90% AI. There is only 5% that the person contributed. If it's not like that, everybody will enter the university, finish a PhD, finish a master's degree, and jump out. Even before AI, Grammarly was doing it. So it will tell you the amount, the percentage of copying in a work. So it's existing. Lecturers haven't. I have Grammarly. I don't have. There's new one for AI. I don't have it because none of you have started using AI.
Cannot play with them.
No, there's no how we don't do. There's no how to say we can read a work and not know what the AI is.
But they know I told them.
It's not possible. It's not possible. If you like, right? If you surprise me, I'll call you to my office. Ask you a question. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but I'm telling you, don't allow your brain to be taken away. Yes. Exercise it. Because very soon, almost everything has gone into AI. AI knows virtually everything about anybody right now. So that's how we know. There are tools for.
I'm just telling them so that they will not be happy that we are discussing AI. And tomorrow, they say, sir, send your question, we are ready for you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. HMP. You're going to answer the next question. How can educational institutions promote responsible AI usage while preserving critical thinking and originality? After you, Dr. Sheo will answer the same question. Please go ahead.
The teacher just told us that don't allow AI to do your work completely for you. And I said earlier, don't let it think for you. I don't know whether it's on universities, because I know all of you are postgraduate students. In my own university, in the general studies, we were taught use of library. And AI is like library, mobile library, the largest library on earth. So I think it should be taught. The use of AI should be taught in school. Okay? We should, and the teachers too should be first to gain that knowledge. So that, as he said, he has already gained it, and that's why he said he can identify when you present that. Okay? So teachers first should be taught, then we should be taught. And another thing, we shouldn't consider it as like competing with AI. No, we should always partner with it. So we teach our students to partner with it, because one thing is that, like the traditional library, if you go there, in 10 days you could not discover what you want in the catalog. But AI can give you in a second. That is why it's very important for us to learn, for our teachers to teach our students. It's a current library, and we have to teach our students the use of it and how to make. Let me remind us something again. Another general study, English. We're taught summary in English language in secondary school. That summary, if you don't know, is what you were taught in nursery, primary school as qualitative thinking. And AI is impacting that seriously. I have observed that. I told you earlier that it's pushing me to go there I don't even think I wanted to go. Okay, so we should teach them that critical thinking. Okay, it's all about it. So we shouldn't, Peter said, don't deny students. For you to equip yourself to challenge the students. And that's why I want to briefly say about what I'm afraid to say. That we shouldn't question what somebody said, maybe that is another word. But in academic discourse, you have to, and that is why they will ask you to explain, discourse, refute in your examination. You should learn that. You can't just take one side. Someone like nuances will tell us that for a theory to advocate, you must go through 3 levels. First, it is observed. Second, it is described. And third, it must be explained. The explanation means you are telling the people why it is the way it is. If you observe that Shehu is here, you have to describe Shehu. Why is Shehu what Shehu is? You have to tell the students. So please.
Thank you very much. Let's hand over the microphone to Dr. Shehu. Thank you, sir.
Those of you who've been in my international communications class know that one of the things we look at is the industrial revolutions. And you know from the assignments you've written or the assignments you wrote on industrial revolution, you know that every revolution had positive and negative effects. In fact, every revolution is initially resisted, but eventually the revolution is accepted with modifications. And the example I like to give is in communications, for instance, the use of internet and so on and so forth. You discover that by the time you're using certain things online, the technological revolution is in Abuja. The laws that now make it useful, they are in Kaduna. So the laws will always play catch up because it takes time to put together the do's and the don'ts of the use of new technology. So the point I want to make, actually, based on this about AI, is that in the use of AI, especially in the educational field, we have what we call the educational scaffold. You know the scaffolding that builders use when they want to put scaffold around buildings. It's the same thing, and this scaffold, educational scaffolding, it's in several parts. One, it's understanding the core principles of responsible use. In other words, if you're using AI, I was going to say UI. If you're using AI, you must know that there is a burden of responsibility on your part. That the major downside of AI is that the more you use it without being responsible, you lose your cognitive thinking, because you are surrendering all your ability to think for yourself to a machine tool, and you are allowing the machine to do thinking to you. And the machine has a limit of creation. In fact, at some times when you are prompting the machine to do something, it will tell you that I am not emotional. I don't know if you've come across that. You prompted somebody to tell you that I can do so and so, but I'm not emotional. I'm a machine. I'm not emotional. And your cognitive ability is tied to your emotions. So it is part of the scaffolding that you must always understand that there are core principles of responsible use. One is the human in the loop. In other words, AI should assist, not decide. Two, data privacy and safety. Student data must never be fed into open-ended public models without strict privacy. Two, equity and accessibility. All right, and transparency and academic integrity. That was what Dr. Nee was mentioning. Academic integrity. When you all go and feed in the same thing, then you end up copying. In fact, yesterday in the class we had, you remember my class? You remember? Yes. You remember that issue? Yes. When I emphasized seriously about academic integrity, that overseas is so serious that you can be thrown out of the university over issues of academic integrity. So that, yes, because whether you like it or not, the example of the gave now is a classic example of plagiarism, even though they did it unconsciously. Okay, but plagiarism. Two, there are practical frameworks for the classroom. Okay, there should be a red level status where it tells you for certain things AI is not allowed. Okay, then there should be a yellow area where you can allow AI to assist you. For instance, I've done a lecture. You can go and do research with AI to fill in the gap, especially postgraduate studies. You know you only have 9 months, but within 9 months you are learning so much. So to assist whatever you've done, yes, you can use AI to understand other things that we were not able to discuss in the what is it called, two credit course. In a 2 credit course. Then there's a yellow level where AI is permitted for specific support tasks, okay? And then students must decide that I use AI here. Okay? And then, of course, there's the area of green. You are permitted to use full AI integration in your work. But what are the best practices for educators and students? For educators, shift assessment models. Focus more on the process of learning, okay? In class discussions, oral presentations, project drafts are what Nick summarized as interactive teaching in the class, okay? When you give your answers, the lecturer will know whether you are actually in class, okay, from the way you present your answer. Then there's a need to teach AI literacy. We must not run away from AI. We have to teach AI literacy, which is part of what we are doing here now. And of course, we must reclaim administrative time. And for students, treat AI as a Socratic tutor. You know Socrates?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you find out what Socrates did as a teacher. Then you now know how he used AI as a Socratic tutor. And then, of course, fact check everything. Gemini will tell you at the bottom, will give you a caveat at the bottom that AI is prone to making errors. That's what Gemini will tell you at the bottom, prone to making errors. And then, of course, protect your personal data.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Ejimi wants to add 2 sentences.
Sorry, when I make my last point, I wanted to say something, but because I was watching the time and doing it. You see, when I brought that theory of explanatory analysis, I wanted to show you something to our teachers. When they present their work and remark it, there should be class exercises. Then come telling us why when they presented the assignment they made, they should explain why it is the way it is. That is where you know who did it and who AI did it for. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Nkiru, I've left you for a long time. Once you hear feminine voice, deep voices, let's hear your sweet voice. Let's go to the future of work. Will AI create more jobs than it eliminates, or should we prepare for a significant workforce disruption? Thank you.
Okay, I think AI will do both. I think it will displace some jobs. I think also that it will create jobs. It will displace existing jobs, it will create new jobs. How do I mean? In fact, this point was also corroborated by the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs Report 2025-2026, when it said...
See a scholar. See what I was telling people yesterday? Scholar.
Please have your hand to that for myself. That is scholar.
It said that while AI and related tech will displace as much as 92 million jobs by 2030. That same AI and tech related will also create as much as 170 million jobs by the same 2030. So for me, that's a net gain. Almost almost 80 million, right? Jobs will be created. But the thing is this, where we have a problem is in the transition gap. Because it is not those who are displaced immediately that will be absorbed. It is not those who are out in the 92 million that will be in the 170 million. Now, this report from the World Economic Forum is a compendium of perspective for over 1,000 leading employers of labor in the world. And for them to be the highest employers of labor, you should trust to a reasonable extent that this is true. The problem will be where? In the shift gap, in the transition gap. what will happen to those who are used to the linear ways of doing this things? Those who are used to the manual ways of doing this things, what would you do? So it calls for what? Reskilling. It calls for what? Upskilling. It calls for what? Intentionality. Deliberately seek knowledge and upgrade yourself. Now, there is something called the domain AI, domain specific. In your field, every field has an AI. I don't care if you're a farmer, I don't care if you're a teacher, whatever you are, every field of human endeavor, every sector of human endeavor has its AI, which is called. Exactly. In fact, we have the head people here, right?
Yes.
We have the head people here. And I know that there is an AI way of making efficient sale, of the head. So the AI of everything, AI of E, will allow you to drill down to your domain and understand how AI can profit your profession, how it can profit what you're doing at the time. It is those people who are able to quickly transition. Those are the people that will be absorbed in 170 million that the World Economic Forum spoke about. So, in fact, we were once here some time ago. I don't know what to say with. That was in the early or mid-1980s where the first electronic spreadsheet was invented, the Microsoft itself. In fact, the paper as accountants, what do they call them? The bookkeepers were all crying, right? They were all crying because there was nothing for them to do. They were all thrown into panic. And at the end of the day, what happened? Why were they crying? That AI has come and it will displace them of their jobs. But what did it do? It did it to an extent. But it created a lot more. The financial analysts, the consultants, and in that sphere. So until you are able to upgrade yourself, to be able to find a place in the AI of things of your domain, there is no space for you. Thank you.
That your hands together. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. How should universities redesign curricula to prepare graduates for the future of work? If you can, I can give it to.
I would say that the old curriculum that we have, I think currently Nigeria is also reviewing the curriculum of them. In fact, every day. So looking at that, so the new curriculum that universities have to come up with, have to include the AI, just like you said, it becomes like a course, which I know is already ongoing. That it's a course that people go and study on how to use that. So in doing that, it will help people in future jobs.
Thank you so much. This is everything. Put your hands together for him. God said this. Okay, hold on.
Let me just add that.
Yes, sir. As
an educator, one of the things every responsible educator should do is to run his or her current curriculum through AI before the beginning of the semester. And you will see areas in which your current curriculum, that course you're in, which changes can be made. And I know that my student last academic session, international communication, we ended with something which we hadn't done previously, because I had done an AI assessment of my curriculum, and I saw we had to move from, because of paradigm, you all remember paradigm?
Yes, sir.
Paradigm. Because of paradigm, we had to solutions journalism.
I'm going to give us the expo in that. Please pass the mic to content. I would like to take you to that question. You are currently in the academic space, and with reference to what Mr. Akia said in the BC, I'm amazed at how the Minister of Education every day seems to be toppling one policy, and what he said was that no more textbooks. Everything will now be soft copies. So I told my son, bring all the textbooks home. I want to be seeing new Oxford English mathematics. We abolished you have 3 children in the school. Each one has to buy fresh books. Schools were doing that. Say no more. Now it's not only it's a conversation they're having. Now let's see the universities. But it's attention. That's
Okay, thank you. So, I think because I'm far, that's why I'm making that sound. Okay, so now the thing is, all must understand about this as it relates to the education system, trying to now maybe roll out this hard copy is I even find a fault in some of these policies that the Ministry of Education normally brings. It's as though they don't think about some things. And what happens is it leaves us in a conundrum of dilemma. So somehow we are confused and we are asking questions. Now, firstly, we could take a look at these things. We see based on society. Can this thing really thrive or they should in this country, not only in Africa, because we're going too far in this country, and that's right. Now, the thing is that even if that is incorporated, now it's also going to cause stress in the sense that can this really go around the urban and rural? We have network issues in Nigeria. We settled that, and now we want to all of a sudden change, want to be maintained. It can't happen. It can't happen. So one of the things that I feel that can now be done is instead of trying to scrap these hard copies, we can also have a balance. Because this thing is individual century. And I like hard copies and at the same time soft copies. But there are some the soft copies. I remember when I started doing my masters, it was all soft copies. I had to also print hard copies, but I was trying to now manage to have this switch. It was difficult because I've been used to hard copies, and now we are trying to advance to okay, let's do everything digital. I had to now be able to adjust so that I can also do the online and also the hard copy. But in all, to hide this, I would also want to say something. The question you threw to Mrs. Ikero. Now, when the discourse of AI came into play, it was first of all perceived as a threat. That's why sometimes we are scared that we think, there was a conversation that was being around about that thing, that AI is going to take more. Meanwhile, it is those who master the use of, that's why it's called machine learning. It is not all sufficient. It is what we give to it that it will also use to enhance its own knowledge. So whenever people tend to ask questions, it gives it to them. So it's a two-edged sword. It learns and then you also learn machine learning. I don't know if you've seen some of these adverts on YouTube where you are watching the video, then another just pop up that this is the new hire. It still uses Microsoft or still uses Excel, and then you see that the new hire has the higher pay, but the one who is old in the company is receiving low. Prior to that, you see what happened along the line. The oldie had to go and take AI courses to now improve himself, and then he now added to his own resume, and then to his own like that, he now galvanized to receiving a very low stipend to high stipend. What I'm trying to say is that we should commonize learning AI and also practicing with it rather than just depending on it for all we do. It can serve as help, or assistance, but not just us depending on it totally.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together.
In all the curriculum we design, I am most interested in how it fits for the students. Like my other panelists, other members have also spoken on how we should redesign the curriculum in such a manner that it privileges process over product. We said it, process over product. We want to see how you did it, right? Yes, because the old ways, or well, how we grew up, we were meant to memorize 500 pages of textbooks. So it was more of what you knew then. But right now, AI is, pivoting towards what you do with what you know and how you use it to solve an immediate problem in your domain. What you do with what you know. Because facts are everywhere now, they are free. Click on AI, you can use it to deconstruct very complex, concepts and all of that. That's what you can use AI to do that. So if AI can do that, why do we have to put so much trying to memorize the textbooks? Understanding it is okay, but then knowing the process. Because in the real world, in the world of work, it is the process that we will see. In fact, whatever we do in the classroom should mirror the field. Whatever we do in the classroom. And that is why we have to remodel into, problem solving, going from, having to memorize into critical judgment. Okay, this thing that we have a plethora of information, to choose from. Which one of them, according to your judgment, most suits this problem? Which one of them can provide the most optimal solution to the problem we have at hand? Until we begin to do it immersively, we begin to transform our classrooms into a simulation center for what we are to meet in future. Our children will end up memorizing and regurgitating an exam day. And at the end of the day, you award them a master's degree. It is the AI you are awarding, not the students.
Wow. Thank you very much. I was waiting for you to come back. We're going to media now. How has AI affected the credibility of information and public trust in media and knowledge sources? How has AI affected the credibility of information and public trust in media?
Yeah. A very interesting question. The answer to this question could be derived from Western media experiences. Nigerian media experiences is very funny. But the kind of practice we put on here is a funny situation. Situation where armchair journalism. Have you heard of armchair journalism?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean? Armchair journalism.
When you sit back without attending an event to get the after fact and harvest information from this.
Yeah. When you sit back without participating in an event, but you are telling people how the event went. How do you see it? Like a native dog. So the Nigerian media space is a funny situation, and AI, we no longer read. Yes, the Nigerian society have read. If you do a census now, you find out that those of us here, maybe one or two persons are reading any book at the present. And it is possible that majority of us here have not even touched a newspaper in the last 6 months. And the phone that you are holding, which you claim you read online, you can mention a particular medium that you normally read from. So, AI affecting the media space is a very difficult conclusion to reach. Any scholar reaching any conclusions as regards Nigeria is merely doing an academic attempt which will end up in futility. Because Nigerians don't read, our politicians don't read. The audiences, readers, they hardly try to read. So, issues arising in Nigeria more or less depends only on feelings. That's why sometimes, even when you see real videos, people end up telling you it's AI. It's AI. So nothing is true anymore. So AI, whether it's playing a role or not, is very difficult in present Nigeria, where you see people in an event and later they will deny it.
Yes.
And the media will not insist. The funny thing is that the media that know that they saw the person will support the person that is saying it's an AI. They will not call the person short and say it's a lie, we saw it. So what kind of practice is that? What kind of analysis do you want me to give you? In a system that has no focus. So that's about system. If you go to other countries, you'll be surprised the amount of reading that people still do. Even when leadership are falling in Nigeria and Africa, even around the world, but you still find newspapers selling as much as 5 million copies a day in some countries. And you enter airports and you see that everybody is busy reading.
Alright.
But it doesn't happen. So the realities are there. I don't like wasting my time reaching political conclusions that are baseless. Doesn't have knowledge to anybody. Saying that AI has affected. AI has not affected anything. Nigerians are just using AI to deceive themselves. That's what Nigerian media is doing. You can't rely on a journalist. Very, very few of them that will call a spade a spade. In fact, 70% of Nigerian journalists are looking for opportunities to find themselves in positions where they will make ends meet, rather than serving the people. It's not AI that is causing it. That's the situation.
All right, sir. Thank you, Dr. Lee. And Dr. Lee has raised a very important point, talking about the ethics of AI. Because it is used by human beings. It's good. In fact, AI is neutral. AI is neither good or bad. It depends on who is handling it, true or false. So now, in media, as journalists, on what side are you, good or bad? You control the narrative. We are running up now. In 1 second, what of 1 minute? The last question, everybody will take this. What concerns you the most about the next decade of AI development? What worries you the most about the next decade?
Yes, I think it's all about this fear that we are expressing. Instead of us to make ourselves prepared for what is coming ahead, we are expressing fear. So that is the most concern. And the other concern quickly is you develop yourself because AI
with everybody knowing how to do it, we'll be presenting plethora of misinformation. So we have to, that is another concern. So that if we don't build ourselves, definitely there will be a problem in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Please hold on. You say your last. What excites you the most about the opportunity AI is presenting the next decade? What excites you the most?
Okay. What excites me most is that it has made, or it's going to make my job very easy. Like I said, it saves time and it makes my job very easy. That's one of the things that you know, all this that when you want to do a project or when you want to do something, it takes time. So it saves time.
Please give it on to Madam Kiru. Madam Kiru, what concerns you the most?
What concerns me the most? In fact, Dr. Nick searched through my mind while he spoke. First of all, I am very worried from lack of use. Yes, because we do not use the brain muscles begins to shrink. That is one. Two, another thing that concerns me is what Dr. Nick spoke about, the liar's dividend. So you see someone, because we have gotten to a stage of, because it's all over the place now that AI can read out false information out there. People can use it using the deepfakes to create false audio, false video. At some point, it gets to a situation where people no longer know what to believe and what to trust. So if you show me anything, the first thing that comes to my mind, I will first of all dismiss it as AI before I begin to check to know whether it's real or not. Now you see all of us drifting to that situation where we believe that nothing can be so true.
Very correct.
Yes, we get to that state of nihilism where we believe that we can't have it all true. And then it takes us to that point where you have the liar vision, where politicians can wake up one morning and appear somewhere and say they did not appear. Exactly. Right? Because we know that there is the prevalence of what? False information, being able to get false information out of AI, and then you see them using that, leveraging that situation to do what? To cause it. Exactly.
Thank you. All right. Now, Dr. Shilza, if you could give one piece of advice to students, researchers, and professionals navigating an AI-driven world, what will it be?
That we must use AI from the perspective their own cognitive creativity is what stands out, is what they are aiming for as the outcome, not relying on ECA.
Thank you very much, sir. Very well said. Jam your hands together for all the panelists. Thank you. This symposium.
Sorry.
Okay.
I want to, for instance, please, your I used to tell people, when you don't understand question, you tend to answer wrongly. Basically, my answer the last time this was actually because I didn't get the question very correct. You can consign. So what consigns? That's I'm talking about more of the negative aspects of the AI. Yes. So the answer I gave was actually also in all summary. What I say is that my consign is that our generation will become so lazy that that we lose our brain.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Time your hands together for everybody on the panel. We want just 2 reactions from those of us. Wow, see sharp hands. 2 guys and a lady. Ladies first.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the conversation thus far. I think I've gained a lot of knowledge of what we're saying. But I also want to speak to something. So, listening, felt like at some point there was a lot of things being said about artificial intelligence that was now becoming like the God as far as it's superior in a sense. And then I want to speak to that also because if you've used AI, especially for Gen Zs and then other generations, right? So please, if you've used it long enough, you begin to find out that there are actually biases, right? We have a lot of biases with AI. And one of the things I noticed with media, especially when it has to do with artificial intelligence and then the Western, all of that. Now, if you take a picture that has a white person and a black person, sorry, I'm not using black, but a white person and a Nigerian, let's say that is dark in complexion. Now, if you go back to that picture and look at it, you will notice that the third person looks way clearer than the other person. Now, I've noticed that over a period of time, and I began to ask questions. Okay, why is this the way it is? And then someone explained to me that one of the reasons why we have scenarios like that is because most of the training, I think someone also spoke about machine learning, that is training AI. Because whatever AI knows is from the bulk of information out there. Now, it points to the fact that the bulk of information used in training this artificial intelligence actually Western. So AI can easily recognize that when compared to recognizing a black person, right? So I'm saying this, I'm using this instance also to other areas. Now, when it also comes to Gen Zs, now one of the important things about us is that we are loud. There are a lot of information. Everybody has a podcast, everybody's saying something, and so many information is going out. But my problem with so many information going out is it looks like the loudest person now owns the room, and we don't actually get quality information. So this is more like an appeal to everybody sitting down here, especially to the higher persons that we have, our teachers. Now, if we are able to also speak, now our teacher, it's not like you're not speaking, but maybe you're not saying so much yet. So I think that it's important that we hear you out there. We hear you saying the right things. For Nigerians and Africans, we have our cultural nuances, right? And buying everything the Western culture gives us quick line and sinker because it is AI, because we find it out there. It's not the right way to go. We are slowly and gradually losing what makes us Africa. So I think that if we can have more of your voices out there, speaking and saying the things that we actually need to hear, I think it will go a long way in helping us to train AI. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Zingi Adedu. I want to stand on the existing protocols. Mine is just partly contribution to what the panelists have said, and just a quick question as well, if it's possible for us to answer. I was privileged to be in a seminar, previous seminar, sometimes in November last year, organized by the Center of Journalism, Innovation and Development, Premium Times owners. And part of the 3 days event, there was a section that was dedicated to AI. I think what I learned from that event was that there are 2 parts to it, whether it's the fear of bridging the gap of job loss, or the user's aspect and the developer's aspect. Part of what was raised was that a lot of issues with AI. First, we discovered that there was need to encourage local developers to go into to tilt their interest into the areas of contributing their own part to this AI innovation. What am I trying to say? What I picked from the address that was given by the convener at the class yesterday before I decided to attend this event was that part of the aim of this symposium was to harness ideas from scholars and see how we can plug it in back into the AI data bank. Because if you see AI as witchcraft or one invisible entity somewhere, then you are getting it wrong. AI is actually a harvest of algorithms that you said you were thinking of a red car, and AI showed you a red car. Probably at some point in your social media account, when they ask you some of those information you provide, your likes and dislikes, they must have spotted your favorite colors.
It was too much of a coincidence.
Okay, I'm coming. At some point, you must have, given that information about what your favorite colors were. In some of those platforms, maybe some of those, whether Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, you sometimes they just give you that long agreements to agree to. But how many of us really go through this agreement before we click agree and push on when we try to open those social media accounts?
All right.
But the point I really want to make is that we now discover that we need to develop softwares that AI applications that will address our own local problems. For example, several young people came up with different platforms that would, this point is very important, different platforms that would use for example, verification of fake news, for example. When there is a news out there and you want to know whether it's AI or it's real stories, people are beginning to think towards that end where we will use local AI tools to verify local stories. And if you check AI in the initial stage, when you even see videos of AI with voice over running under it, you will discover that most of these voices are always sounding Western because the origin of those AI apps were Western then.
Thank you very much.
But now we discover that we can actually have AIs that will be local to us.
Thank you.
That we use to develop content in here.
Thank you.
That will reflect our own immediate environment.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is David Achebulu, and I just want to speak to one point. I mean, it's been an interesting conversation listening to everybody, but I can't speak exact word for word what the response to this question was on the table, but the panelists when they were asked what their concern is in the near future. On the aggregate, there was a lot of negative concerns about people being overly reliant on artificial intelligence in the detriment of the use of their own brains. I beg to differ a bit. It's a valid concern, but in the history of mankind, and Dr. Shebu alluded to that as well, generally speaking, crime is always miles ahead of law enforcement. So it takes someone to jump through the roof before architects decide, like, okay, let's start using concrete to roof houses. Like, something negative always happens to precede the corrective measure. As parents, if your child falls down, you realize, like, oh, keep it floor dry, or something like that. I say all that to say, in as much as there are these negative tendencies, which is a reflection of human nature, and like my colleague just said, newsrooms around the world are already using AI to fact check stories and news. Like on X, there's a grok icon that is there that you can. So these things are evolving. Why isn't AI to counter, like my lecturer said, there are already AI tools that can check plagiarism. So those things are coming up. I think where emphasis should lie heavily is on orientation and adaptability and what they call it, policy communication. How to pass this knowledge to the critical mass. And lastly, I would say, the optimist invented the aeroplane, the pessimist invented the parachute. They both
Wow,
work together.
a very good place to end. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, God, get ready for the vote of thanks. We're wrapping up.
Okay, please, just a way of concluding and then summarizing all that they have said. The question then was what concerns you. And something that concerns you is something not palatable. So if she had asked earlier what excites you, and that's where these positive things we're talking about can come up. Her question was what concerns you, and it is something worrisome. So that was why everybody was sounding negative. So if I may just correct that. Now, on the red card that she talked about, something called algorithm. Putting together everything. The AI has a way of predicting your behavior, your likes, your dislikes. If you type one thing, it picks it, it records it. I think she likes this. And tomorrow, as you flip through your phone, as you do scroll, you see it coming over and coming over. And then at some point, it creates what is called echo chambers, where it places you on a particular corner, feeding you with those things you like, so that any external idea that contradicts what you have in your head is wrong idea. So at the end of the day, it is a repetitive cycle. It looks for you, as far as you're concerned, it is what you know that is the right thing. Because it is your right that is in that echo chamber. Do you understand? So if you decide to disagree at any point, or somebody disagrees with you at any point, you will begin to see that it is not just about what you know, that has defined you that is not good. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Algorithm, informer.
Dr. Shehu is rounding up this session.
What you were saying about lighting up, black and white people. Actually, if you do basic filmmaking, it's one of the things you learn in the lighting technique. It's a lot easier to light up fair-skinned people than dark-skinned people. And so you see the algorithm is just a reflection of an existing knowledge.
No.
Okay, so that has just been transferred to whatever your Gen Z people are using when they make pictures on their smartphones. Okay, so it's up for us to, like I keep saying, we need paradigm shift. Also find out how can we light up that.
And we need history.
Yes,
knowledge of history.
Knowledge of history in a way that has not been done before. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Alright, we're going to the end, and I want to give the mic now to the convener. Have you enjoyed yourself today? Please jam your hands together.
Thank you everyone for staying till this time. Most importantly, I want to also thank the panelists. Thank you so much, Dr. Louis, Dr. Shehu, and Mr. Udisi. This is a doing so well, and yes, Dr. Lee, and thank you, and Dr. Udo, and also everyone here. Thank you so much for making it. The honest truth is that without you, there wouldn't be this academic symposium. So your presence counts, and then it also serves to the success of this. And we look forward to having second edition. We'll be here with someone else. But then thank you so much for making the maiden edition fantastic and fabulous. Thank you so much, and I think we should thank you so much. Please, let's not go.
Doctor, come.
Thank you.